Facebook poll, and number 2 came out to be Halloween 2. So Halloween 2 is number 2. I don't agree with it. I think it's another one that got by on reputation. I love Halloween 2. I had it at number 4, but, the public is the public, and as Ron Swanson says, the public is stupid. So, Blake, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is not one you'd expect from me, and again, I think it was the opening sequence that really got me. You have this dark street, and all of a sudden you have these dirty, dusty-ass fucking shoes, and all this kid playing in the fucking rain and shit, and then his mom calls him in, and then you see these shoes, and you see this Prowler guy, no, this is not the Prowler that I'm talking about. This is Friday the 13th Part 2, and it's amazing. It's one of my favorites in the series. I think it was a worthy successor to the first one, and it has some good kills. Plus, that's the first time I ever seen anybody murdered while they were having sex. That was interesting.
Double impale.
Yeah, triple impale, because he was impaling her and then they were both impaled, right?
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Shit. I've had too much to drink tonight.
Drunk bastard. All right.
Fuck you.
Vic's up with his number 2 now. Man, I tell you what, never would I have expected you to have Friday the 13th Part 2 higher than Vic did. That's funny.
That's pretty hilarious, actually. My number 2 is Halloween 2 because it's better than Friday the 13th Part 2. It's crazy how that works.
Bullshit. Look at you agreeing with the public. Look at you agreeing with the public.
Who the hell are you, and what have you done with Philpott?
Yeah. Philpott talks all this shit about the public, and he's right in line with them a lot of the way. The only thing he's mad about is that the burning was so low, but really it's not that low.
Yeah, Philpott's a fucking lemming, man.
Well, since he hasn't mentioned the burning, we can go ahead and guess that it's his number 1, but we'll get there. I do know. Let's see here. So, my number 2, I haven't mentioned it yet. Vic, can you guess what my number 2 is?
Friday the 13th Part 2.
It's an American Werewolf. It's an American Werewolf in London.
Okay. Well, you talking about the movie so much, I thought it was your number 1.
Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I first saw the idea for this, it was my number 1, and I started thinking real hard about that, and I was like, I can't make a werewolf movie my number 1, but it's really good. It's really weird. It has the best werewolf transformation, for me, of any movie ever. I don't love the werewolf look, though, so it's kind of weird.
You don't like the werewolf look, but it was more rooted in reality. If there was going to be a transformation, and it was also accomplishable all on screen, and that was only 81. Keep in mind, some of the other films like Silver Bullet and all that, just 3 or 4 years later, 3 years later, and 4 years later made a difference. The effects make a difference.
Well, I like the werewolves and the Howling. I like those better, but I like the transformation in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, and Steve Johnson worked with Rick Baker on the American Werewolf in London, so that's
of course
one of his first films.
Well, it's a pretty good film to start out on.
Well, he actually was uncredited. He worked on The Fog. That was his actual first movie, was The Fog.
Which another good movie to fucking work on. So yeah, I tell you what, I love American Werewolf in London. I was glad I got to meet David Knott at, I think it was Days of the Dead Louisville. I could be wrong.
Yeah, is Griffin Dunn doing any of those? The two of them should have a photo op together where you could get it.
I agree. I don't want to fucking see him anywhere. I want to meet everybody that was in the movie that I possibly can, but I haven't seen him anywhere. So, I don't know, man. I'll just keep plugging it.
Well, his sister died really tragically. She was strangled to death in her own driveway by her boyfriend. She was the sister in Poltergeist.
I was going to say, that sounds like somebody from Poltergeist, and then you told me, well, okay, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
Dominique Dunn, who is the daughter of Dominic Dunn, very famous author and kind of a law enforcement type, somebody who's like very much a very important person in television history. And his glasses, his glasses were always so notable. It was like George Burns, you know, his glasses. So that's cool.
Hey, Vic, do you know who directed American Werewolf in London?
I have no clue.
John Landis. He directed Animal House.
Nice. I love that.
How weird is that?
And Innocent Blood, which is another Steve Johnson special. I love that movie. All
right, fellas. Well, here we are at number 1 now, and I've already given it away, but I'll say it again. Evil Dead's number 1 by the public. And by the way, not that close either. Evil Dead beat the shit out of... Evil Dead only had to face 2 movies. It got to buy it because I knew how popular it was. Beat the living shit out of My Bloody Valentine. And then it fucking stomped Halloween 2. And that's all it needed to beat. And it was number 1 because Halloween 2 had taken care of the rest of them. So, yeah, Evil Dead, the public's number 1 movie from 1981. Disagree, however... I mean, with this list, you could really rotate a bunch of them at number 1, and I wouldn't be too offended. And I'm really not offended by their number 1. I know Vic is, and he thinks the public's more stupid than I do. So we'll let that be that. And now that brings... See, I'm curious what Blake's number 1 is now. It could be a lot of things. Let's see. Blake's going to come up with some shit like Happy Birthday to Me.
No,
House
Blake is not going to come up with some shit like that. No, but for me... It was a toss-up between 2, and I didn't include the other one on the list because I didn't feel right because I hadn't seen it in so long. That, you know, I was originally going to put The Prowler at number 1, but I hadn't seen it in so long. So I went with my old standby, you know, American Werewolf in London.
Hell yeah!
Full on-screen transformation, the first time that had ever happened, where you saw everything on screen.
Look at you! Look at you! That is a fucking good movie to pick at number 1. God damn. Look at that, Vic. Show some respect for the mighty Blake.
He's like, fuck him. His fucking 80s porn stash and the fact that he has such a hot wife. Fuck that guy. You know?
What the fuck is going on here?
I wouldn't even say that.
1981. What a bitch of a year this was. All right, Vic. Go ahead and give your obvious answer.
All right. Dave already knows what the answer is. I just want to say that this movie has the best kill in cinematic history, the best shower scene in cinematic history, and one of the best killers. And it's total injustice that it never got a series. But my number 1 is The Burning.
Yeah.
You know, you say that it deserved a series, and I'm not disagreeing, okay? It did. It did. But I put it number 2 or number 3 as far as the series in the 80s that deserved, or movies in the 80s that deserved a series. Number 1, My Bloody Valentine. Number 2, Maniac. Number 3, The Burning.
I agree with all 3 of those, so you can line them up however you want. With all 3 of them,
that's just my lineup. I mean, I guess The Prowler could be number 4. But
at least Maniac and My Bloody Valentine both got remakes.
Yeah. But neither one of them got sequels, and that still pisses me off.
Yep, I agree 100%.
I want a sequel. Especially if it's fucking My Bloody Valentine. You can stick anybody in the Miners role. It's like Scream. All right. Well, I'll get off my high horse. So Vic has a slasher at number 1. What do I have at number 1, Vic? Since I threw yours out, you go ahead and just give the obvious for me.
Friday 13th Part 2, of course.
And, you know, I know people are listening. They're like, he loves Friday the 13th movies. He loves Jason, blah, 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 blah. Of course it's his number 1. Not so much, because I had the first Friday the 13th at number 4, I think, in our 1980 list. And it took me a lot of thinking about this, but Friday the 13th Part 2, it's probably the one, aside from maybe Friday the 13th Part 6, that pushes Friday the 13th Part 4 the hardest for being the best of the series. Friday the 13th Part 2 is an awesome slasher. You get some nice tits in it, too, by the way, Vic. And you get some awesome kills. I mean, shit, you would think Savini worked on the movie. You had so many good ones. But Friday the 13th Part 2, epic, legendary, and for me, it's my number 1. And Baghead Jason's the only Jason that ever scared the shit out of me. Probably because he looked like a Klansman. I'm just saying. And I had never seen the Town That Dreaded Sundown at that time. So
I've never seen that movie at all, Travis.
Really? I've seen both of them, the remake and the original.
I'm working on it. Writing books doesn't leave a lot of time to watch movies, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, that means that some movies were snubbed. Let's talk about some of the ones that were snubbed. Graduation Day, that movie is fucked up, and it's a weird slasher. Happy Birthday to Me, another weird slasher. House by the Cemetery by Lucio Fulci. You want to talk about a disjointed movie? That movie, like, I swear it's like 10 movies in one. So I feel pretty good about the movies that made our list. So let's see who got snubbed. Blake snubbed The Prowler, but because he hadn't seen it in so long. Totally get that. We didn't have Galaxy of Terror. We didn't have Ghost Story. I didn't have Tobe Hooper's Funhouse. Apparently I need to go back and watch that because you guys are pressing me about it. Vic, what did you not have? Scanners from my list, that is?
And by the way, just so y'all know, I like Scanners. It didn't make my list. Like, it almost did. That and Graduation Day both almost made it.
What did you say you liked?
I like Scanners. Scanners, the movie.
Oh, I didn't know you'd ever seen it, to be honest with you.
My brother used to watch it all the time. Like, it's one of his favorite movies. So really used to.
It's a fucked up movie is what it is.
Yeah. I used to watch it all the time with him.
I'm trying to think here. Cannibal Pharaoh, you guys need to check that out. I saw it on Shudder for free, or on Screenbox, or whatever it was.
My wife brought it up today, Travis, and she asked me if I'd seen it. I said, nope, I ain't seen it.
It's a lot like Cannibal Holocaust. It's fucking nasty. And it's good. I enjoy it. I'd watch it again. Vic, I think you'd have it very high on your list if you had watched it.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like, I saw it because when I looked up 81 horror movies, I saw it on there. I was like, man, I need to see this. But I didn't have time.
There were some other things on there that I thought, damn, I need to see this, but I didn't have time either. So I know what you mean, man. It's tough to do these things. I haven't really gotten out to watch anything lately. I did watch Date Night. Isn't that what it was called, Vic?
What?
I watched Date Night at Village 8. That wasn't bad.
I don't know what that is.
No, Game Night. Game Night.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about? The comedy. It's not a fucking horror movie. I haven't seen any kind of horror over the last week. It sucks. My horror adventures have taken me nowhere. But they will. This is what I was telling Blake about before the show. In October, I'm kind of sad about it, but also really happy about it. I've decided not to do Halloween Horror Nights this year, even though they're fucking just announced. Well, they announced it and then they pulled it because I think they weren't supposed to announce it yet. They put up a YouTube video. And then they pulled the YouTube video. But apparently Trick or Treat is coming to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando again this year, which angers me because I love Trick or Treat. It's my favorite movie. But instead of going to Halloween Horror Nights and like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, I am going to Salem, Massachusetts to check out where all the fucking witches were killed and such, and the trials. And all that fun stuff, because it's fucking awesome at Halloween from what I hear. Never been to Massachusetts, but I will be checking it out second week of October. I've already looked into some places that are up there, so I'm pretty excited about it. And, I'm thinking maybe on this show in October we should talk about the Salem witch trials. What do you think, fellas? We've never done any kind of witch stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what else you should do while you're up there, Travis? Visit Fall River.
Well, we're definitely going to Boston. I don't know about Fall River.
Well, Fall River is where the Lizzie Borden murder house is. You have to go see it.
Yeah, it's an hour from Boston, so I've been trying to, talk my wife into it. I got to figure out a way to do that, because I want to go to the bed and breakfast. But, yes, Lizzie Borden did take an axe, and, she gave her father 20 whacks and mother 42.
They made it to. Yeah, they changed it to make it fit in the rhyme. It wasn't anything like that. It was like a couple, really good whacks, and then they just had to make a fucking jump rope song out of it. It's funny, jump rope songs, man.
I love it. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. All right, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing in October. I'm pretty fucking excited about it because Salem's pretty sweet. As far as Halloween goes, they say it's nuts up there in October, so I'm pretty excited about that. I want to go see the Witch House. There's a bunch of kitschy restaurants there,